Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nives and I'm a mom of two girls and I've recently started homeschooling them. So thank you for being here and I'm so excited for another video. Today I wanted to film a video just because we are having such beautiful weather. It feels so anticipated. The skies are blue, the days are getting longer. We have double digits temperatures today in Celsius. I just wanted to add that ever since I first recorded this video, the weather took a turn for the worse and it's been cold and it's been snowing every single day. The sun is shining right now, but it's probably around -8 degrees Celsius. My crocuses that emerged last week have closed up and shriveled up. So there's that. But you know, it's spring equinox time. The days are only going to get longer, warmer, brighter, so we don't despair. Yes, and it just feels really exciting. So I'm filming a video about spring. What are our homeschool spring plans about? I have my coffee and I'm just ready to have a chit-chatty video about what our spring plans are like this year. So we love learning seasonally, and I've been taking advantage of those early homeschool years before all the formal education begins to really hone in on that. And so spring, it just brings a whole new vitality to our lives, to me as a mother and as a teacher, and I'm really excited for it. So our goal is to be focused on outdoor learning a lot. We're going to be doing lots of hands-on learning, lots of outdoor learning, getting dirty, splashing in puddles, gardening, getting our hands in the soil, growing fruits and vegetables, hopefully. And so that's the main focus of our whole springtime homeschool experience. Something I'm really excited about is taking our learning outside. We always focus on spring cleaning indoors, but I think for me, I like to prep our backyard as much as I like to prepare our house for a new season. So yeah, I'm really excited to get it ready for spring and just to get out. My husband is going to be building the girls' mud kitchen this year, so that's going to be lots of fun, hands-on, sensory learning, and I'm really excited for them, and they're also really excited for it. And then we're going to be focused on gardening, of course. So my husband took the girls to a garden center and they came back with a whole bunch of seedlings, beautiful flowers, vegetables as well, some herbs as well. But yeah, we're really excited to be planting these. We've already started some seedlings inside, which we've put around our house where our cat can't reach them. I'm really excited for us as a family to be really doing more of gardening this year. And for children, gardening doesn't just engage their senses or teaches them about the whole farm to table concept, but it also allows them to encounter so many bugs, which they're excited about. Me, not so much, but it's part of the gardening experience, so I'll go along with it. But yeah, so I have a lot of books and resources to learn about that, to learn about ants, bees, butterflies, beetles, worms. We're also going to be doing our morning time outside, and not just necessarily in our backyard, but in parks and forests, wherever it is we want to go, we can take our learning there. So yeah, this spring we basically intend to live outside. We're going to be eating outdoors, playing outdoors, learning outdoors, etc., etc. So we're going to be having lots of fun. So in terms of curriculum, we're going to be using the Treehouse Schoolhouse Spring Nature Study. I have only the cover page of the teacher guide printed so you can see what it looks like. It's beautiful, it's colorful, just like the whole curriculum itself. So this is a Charlotte Mason inspired curriculum, and it ticks a lot of boxes for me. It integrates art, poetry, hymns, into our nature study. So we get to learn science and we get to learn about all these other subjects as well. And it's just a fun and engaging way to learn. We get to practice memorization, recitation, journaling, narration, art. We get to learn about science. We get to learn about geography and history. We get to dance, make music. We just have lots of fun doing this curriculum. So I'm really excited to be starting the spring one. And so we're going to be learning about seeds and sprouts, snails, worms, birds, gardening, clouds and rain, bees, snakes. It's just such a beautiful, wholesome curriculum. We've been studying rainbows and we've been doing some experiments that come as part of the curriculum. So that's been fun. And yeah, we're really excited for it. We're excited about everything we're going to be learning. I think it's such a fun and engaging way to learn, and I'm all for it. In terms of books, I have so many that are in transit at my local library. So full disclosure, Most of our books come from the library, which I think is a great way to save money when you're a homeschooler, and we get to lease them over and over again if we really like them. So yeah, so a lot of them are coming from the library itself. Okay, ever since I filmed this video, I decided to insert this bit because it has basically almost all the books that we're going to be reading this spring. Not all of them, there's still a lot of them coming from the library, but you know, this is a big pile, so I just wanted to show you all. So let's start with this one, The Story of the Root Children. This is a beautiful, sweet, wonderfully illustrated book, and it's about these little children who live underground, and Mother Nature prompts them up and tells them that it's spring, so they prepare their clothes, and everything's tied to what happens in nature. They paint bugs and then they emerge, and you know, they have a beautiful spring and summertime, and then they go back underground again for another winter. So it's just part of that magical Waldorf-like storytelling way. Here we have Snow Rabbit, Spring Rabbit, and this one's about not just a rabbit, but other animals in the winter time, what happens to them, and then how, you know, eventually spring does come and it eases their burden. And, you know, it's a time of renewal and celebration. When Spring Comes, this one's another book going over from the change of winter to spring and how everything becomes much more vibrant, much more alive, much more green, colorful, and just that whole change from winter to spring. Abracadabra, It's Spring. This just talks about what happens in spring. It's a sweetly illustrated book, very simple to read. And it speaks of just exactly what happens over spring, you know, talks about some plants, speaks of some animals too. Yeah, it's a sweet one. Goodbye Winter, Hello Spring. Again, I love the illustrations in this book. It's a very simple, pretty short story. It's bidding farewell to winter and eventually welcoming spring. This one is not necessarily a spring book, but we always read it in springtime. It's Backyard Fairies by Phoebe Wall, and she has such beautiful illustrations in her books, and it's just about the magic of that mystical world that so many children are privy to, and just noticing the mysteriousness around us. And I just think this fits so nicely in the springtime when things are actually coming alive. And the other day my daughter noticed a big patch of moss like we've never seen before. It almost looked like a troll's back or something, and that's the story she had gone with, and it was just so beautiful. And so I really like this book. I find it really magical, really sweet. This one's called And Then It's Spring, and it's about mainly the early springtime when everything is much more brown and yellow, and he's trying to see less brown and more green as he tries to grow his garden. This one's called What's Inside a Flower, and it's a scientific book about flowers, as you might have guessed it, and it's just really beautiful illustrations. It speaks of flowers, where they grow, different flower parts, how worms help the soil, speaks of photosynthesis, you know, the whole process of growing a flower from seed to flower. And I think this is so wonderful. My girls love this book. They asked to read it over and over again, and they're learning so much through it. And I think it ties in so nicely as we're planting our flower garden, and we've started our seeds, hoping they grow into seedlings and then into flowers. So this is a really nice tie-in, and it helps them make sense of what exactly is happening as the flowers grow. This one's for my toddler, Little Blue Truck Springtime. It's obviously, we know Little Blue Truck series. It's not a mind-changing book, but it's sweet, it's festive for spring, and not all books need to be these great living books, right? It's okay to have some of these books in our libraries and for our children to like them. And then I also have the little book of backyard bird songs, and this is one we love. My eldest is able to identify certain bird songs, so she can tell house wren from the goldfinch, and something I'm not able to do, but every now and then we're going to be in the forest and she's able to tell the sounds apart and tell me, okay, this is a killdeer, and just identify the bird songs. And I think that's beautiful. We've been using this one through winter, but now especially with the springtime and getting awoken by bird songs, we really like referencing this one again. And then of course I have the anatomy book series. So I have the nature anatomy, farm anatomy, food, and wildlife. And nature and farm and food, we're going to be using it a lot for gardening, actually. You know, learning a lot about different fruits and vegetables, how they grow, some uses for them. We're also going to be visiting lots of farms and seeing spring babies. So it's really nice for them to be out in the world and have those experiences of visiting a farm, seeing chickens run around, you know, even if we go to a friend's farm, collecting eggs, and then coming home and synthesizing that experience through a book and recalling what it is that we have seen, and really learning visually as well as of course through experience. So these are really beautiful books. The illustrations are very realistic. There's so much information. You know, there's different breeds of cows, for example, you can learn about. So there's a lot of information that I myself am excited to learn as well. And we always reference these books through our learning. So again, we're going to be using them a lot in our spring learning. And last but not least, I wanted to talk about Easter itself. Just quickly touch on what's happening for Easter. But basically this year I'm doing things quite differently from previous years. I've come a long way spiritually. I was a lifelong atheist who wanted nothing to do with religion or biblical teachings, especially when it came to letting those into my children's education, or those teachings guiding my children's education. So now, well, I had a complete change of heart on that. So that's a story for another time. But basically the last few years, Easter was a very secular holiday for us in our house. It was mainly focused on the arrival of spring itself, not necessarily the Easter bunny, but you know, spring, that whole season of renewal. And here is going to be the first Easter ever where we're focusing on teaching our kids about resurrection and what Easter is actually all about. So I'll be learning alongside of them. I didn't get an Easter curriculum this time. We've had a wonderful Christmas curriculum, which we've used and loved, and I thought it was great for someone like me. But for Easter, with it being our first Christian-centric Easter, I wanted to focus on the Bible itself. So my plan is to go through the Bible passages and learn about the death of Jesus Christ and the resurrection of Jesus Christ with my kids. So that's what we're going to be doing. And then a resource I got for free from, again, Treehouse Schoolhouse, not affiliated to her in any way, but I just really like her resources, is this printout of an Easter egg hunt. And it's 12 days leading up to Easter. You hide an egg each day with a passage that you're going to be reading and a little object in the egg that references that passage. So for example, for Palm Sunday, you'd have a palm branch and then you would read about Jesus coming to Jerusalem. So yeah, that's what we have, and I'm excited to be doing the egg hunt a little bit differently than we have the previous years, and to be learning alongside with my children. Here it is. That's our spring and Easter homeschool plan. That's what we're going to be learning and focusing on. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for being here, and I'll see you in my next video.